Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. It's Berenica here, and today I'm actually filming it's a bit more of a somber video, but I feel like even though my mood may be a bit somber right now, it's not a somber of sadness necessarily, or of wishing things were different. It's kind of just a somber that you experience when you've accepted the situation for what it is. And I feel like this is the somber that sets in right before the biggest change of growth. I'm someone who I feel like really, has made it my mission to live the best life that I possibly can and to actually live my life right, to not live in fear, to actually do the things that I want to do, to make an effort to chase after my dreams, to go and build and fulfill my dreams for myself. An example is this YouTube page, right? Being able to share like my experiences, share my perspectives, with the world, and hopefully help people. And I hope that this video helps you too. So I this year I I was 22. I'm still 22, but my birthday is coming up very soon, so I will be 23 most likely when you watch this video. I'll probably be um, very like 23 when you watch this video, but let's see. Um, I think that, this year has really been such a year of personal growth, of personal exploration, and of really, embracing challenges, embracing the unknown, and stepping into the wild. I actually brought in my birthday. I was on a bus, on a Flixbus, going to St. Andrews in Scotland to visit one of my friends there. But it was like the first, I feel like, real like extended solo trip that I did. I was terrified, and yeah, I kind of spoke about this before, but even getting to the trip was really difficult and kind of emotionally taxing. And being on the trip, I just remember being on the bus and just feeling so alone and feeling so scared and feeling so terrorized, like not terrorized, but so alone and so scared and just so terrified. And all of the people who I reached out to, who I reached out to for support, they all, just really like let me down. And it wasn't even like I was, asking for anything significant. Like one of them was literally just like, hey, like I'm really, going through something right now. Do you mind like walking me with me to the metro station? Because it's like, do you mind walking with me? Sorry, there's so many ants. And I have my journal, and this is my new journal, guys. I love it. It's so cute. It says Le Petit Journal. And yeah, I love it so far. And this journal I'm actually like writing in cursive. At least trying to. I was gonna show it to you, but actually that's probably not the best idea. But anyway, going back. So yeah, I departed on this journey already, feeling like honestly kind of a lot of betrayal, from these people that I reached out to, like these people who are close to me, who are supposed to be like my best friends, these people who are supposed to be there for me, and like no one is perfect, right? But some moments in life, people really show who they are. And so one of them was like, I was literally like, hey, do you mind walking with me to the metro station? It's 10 o'clock at night. I'm terrified, like, to walk alone. It's like pitch dark. It's like maybe a 10-minute walk. And, you can, like, this person could have brought their bike with them. It would have been a 3-minute bike back. And instead of just being upfront and honest, like, I don't know, I feel like if my friend asked that after she just broke down crying, she's terrified of going on this trip, her friend who she was supposed to stay with is like changing up a bunch of things at the last minute, she's stressed, she's freaked out, I would walk with her. Even if it wasn't my friend, I would walk with them. And just, at least be upfront about it with me, but she saw the text message. She just pretended like she didn't see it, even though she saw it, her roommate saw it, like, and the craziest thing is like, her roommates, literally, like, multiple of them were literally like, hey, like, I can walk with her to the metro station, it's not a big deal. And she was like, no, you know, and yeah, and I don't think she knows that I'd heard her, but I did. And to me, that like, just the no that she said, just, it remains forever in my head. And at that point I knew, like, this person is not my friend. This person is not my friend whatsoever. It's one thing if you don't want to do it, but why would you go out of your way to stop other people from doing it as well? It just shows, like, how much you really don't care. Another person, like, so that was already, like, the second, like, kind of emotional hit that day. The third one was, I called someone, who I, for a long time, believed was, like, really close to me and genuinely, like, had a lot of love for me. And this person, I was like, hey, I'm really scared, like, do you mind being on the phone with me while I walk to the metro station? And their response is, like, and they were like, fine. And they stayed with me on the phone, and I'm at least thankful that they stayed up with me on the phone. But again, it's like, this is, I really don't ask for a lot in my relationships. And the way that I show up for people, I am an amazing friend. Genuinely, I am an amazing friend. And I just realized, like, not everybody deserves that. Not everybody deserves to have me in their life. Not everybody deserves to have me as their friend. And kind of just realizing, like, I'm not a perfect person by any means, but I know who I am, and I know that I don't go around in the world, seeking to cause harm to other people. And if I do cause, well, okay, seeking to cause, like, if I have no reason to harm you, I will not go out of my way to try and, like, make you feel bad about yourself or put you down or something like that. Honestly, even a lot of people who have, like, done messed up things to me in the past, okay, not all the time, but honestly, a lot of the time, like, I still won't be mean to you. I still won't be nasty to you. I still won't, give you that same energy back, because that's just very much so not me. And I think that, okay, going back to what I was saying at the beginning of this video, this year has been just so revealing to me, because I feel like kind of how I started off the year really set the tone for the whole year. So I was on the, that bus alone, just crying. And I remember, I think I, like, cried so much, then I, like, listened to music and I fell asleep. And I woke up in the morning and I just remember seeing, like, the hills in near, like, Dundee, Scotland. And it was so beautiful and so breathtaking. And I was literally like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't know that they actually had hills. And just a sense of wonder, just a sense of, like, just not only bravery or courage, but just that feeling of, I am out here alone. I am alone. I am alone. There's no one who's backing me up. There's no one who is really supporting me. There's no one else here. It's just me. I'm alone. And I not only survived, but I thrived, and I had an amazing trip, And even though the trip wasn't perfect, and definitely a lot of stuff happened, and definitely time and time again, I was reminded, like, you are alone. I realized, like, okay, even though this is like a solo trip, right? It was so representational, honestly, I feel like, of life and of, yeah, the year to come. Earlier this year, around, like, February, honestly, I came across this, like, earth-shattering realization. And I feel like there's some times in life, where you can, like, look at the same thing, you can read the same thing over and over again, but, like, when you read the same thing or look at the same topics or read the same book, or, just come across the same material at a different time in your life, it can affect you completely differently. And I came across something that really, really shook my world, and that really made me question everything in my life, and made me question a lot of the things about who I am and who I was as a person, And I just realized, like, and uncovered so many things that had, you know, occurred throughout my life, so many things that occurred in my childhood, so many things. Like, guys, I had so many memories that were like suppressed, and all of this stuff just came out. Like, all of this stuff just came out in such a, yeah, like, it was so overwhelming that actually at first, like, ever since coming up across this information, like, I literally like couldn't handle it. Like, I literally was like, I had to kind of stop for like a few months and then recheck in. And once I rechecked in, yeah, I was really just started to question everything, to remember everything, to look back at everything that's happened, you know, a lot of the stuff that's happened throughout my life, and really question it and really look at it through a different lens, and really, you know, really see it like through, I feel like, an adult lens, you know, see a lot of the stuff that happened that I witnessed, you know, see a lot of the things that have happened to me, you know, over my life, and understanding myself, you know, understanding how those things affected me, you know, understanding how they still affect me today. And so I know I'm being quite mysterious maybe with not going into super detail about, you know, some of these things, but honestly the wounds are still really fresh. And I think another thing that I realize is, you know, it's these things like that happened, like, they still in a lot of ways are still happening today, you know. um yeah, and I feel like over the past few months, you know, first I feel like I really kind of was just like overwhelmed. Then I started going through everything and going back through everything and ruminating, and then at a certain point I just felt so much anger. And I just felt so much anger for like months, literally for months and for months and for months and for months and for months. And also just sadness, you know, just sadness, and kind of a sense of hopelessness. And also just like, now it's just honestly a sense of peace, you know. There's a quote by Gloria Steinem, I believe, and it's, you know, the truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off. And that is so true. And first it definitely pissed me off, you know. It made me angry, made me upset. Honestly, it made me happy in so many ways as well, because I realized so many things about myself, you know. And it really allowed me to understand myself so much better, and to be so much more kind to myself, you know. Literally to be so much more kind to myself. And yeah, I just realized that I know who I am, and I'm not a perfect person by any stretch of the imagination. But what I am is someone who honestly, you know, wants the truth in many aspects of life, you know. And I would rather live in reality and not an illusion, you know, even if it hurts, even if it hurts like hell to figure out it is an illusion, you know, or to accept that it's an illusion, because all along, you know, like deep down, like your gut really knows. Yeah, I would rather just live in reality and see reality for what it is, so that I'm able to actually function and be able to take steps and make choices that actually benefit me, that actually benefit me in reality, that actually move, you know, the needle in reality. And yeah, wow, this was honestly such a cathartic video for me to make. You know, again, I know I'm being like super mysterious, but I hope that, you know, even from a lot of like my insights, that you have been able to think about maybe some situations in your life that you're able to relate to. And yeah, I just really realized, like, the truth will set you free. First it will piss you off, you know, you'll go through the stages of grief, but I feel like now I've just really reached a stage of peace. And I've reached a stage where, you know, I am happy I know the truth, because I am not going to be reactive anymore, you know? I'm gonna be responsive. Now that I know what the situation is, okay, I'm gonna build myself into a person who, you know, this situation can't even touch, literally, literally. And yeah, you guys can actually help me do that. Please make sure to follow, subscribe, and turn your post notification buttons on for when I post new videos. And yeah, drop down in the comments, you know, a time where the truth really pissed you off, but ultimately you're happy that you found out the truth because it allowed you to become someone who actually lives in reality. Alrighty guys,